Welcome to the show. Welcome to the new studio, the inaugural. Is that the first ever? We're in our new offices. I'm in a new studio. It looks like I'm an influencer with the new background, and podcast listeners don't care because it's a visual reference. Speaking of new locales, I welcome to the show Kristen Elanius in her normal area and Dame in a creepy booth.
Yeah, it's kind of comforting and yet kind of not all at the
Kristen,
same time.
if I had a 7-foot spear, like a sharp-tipped spear, and I just went this direction, I would stab Damien in the head. He's on the other side of my studio in a call booth, and he's in HQ today, and that's how it all works.
I think the fact that that was how you chose to describe the distance between you and Dame is quite telling.
Okay, how would you have described being 7 feet away from a man like that?
If I reached my arm out really far, I could if we both reached our arms out, we could almost touch each other.
I am not Victor Wembanyama. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Kristen, it's been a year and a half since I've talked to you. How are you?
It has. It does feel like it's been a while. I'm good, I guess.
Andy mentions that I look like I'm a UFO or in a UFO, and Dame looks like he's in a padded cell. Exactly.
So fitting.
Big red swink. Hello. So let me talk about some of the features of the new studio here. I'll go full screen for those that care. Here, it gives me a lot more capabilities. I've got now, instead of a 20-inch monitor in front of me where I have to squint and look at me friends, I've got a 40-inch monitor in front of me. I've got a padded wall in front of me, so the sound sounds good. Got backlights. It's going to be more versatile eventually. We've been in here a week. This is what we got right now. I can change out the colors. Right now, there's a purple blue behind me. It could be like a Urinetown theme if I wanted, like yellow, Kristen.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing.
I thought you were just saying I'm in town, and that's you were like, hey, you're in town.
I think you standing is the most dangerous part of the whole thing.
I can jump during the show. Think about, like, I'm jumping right now.
Just make sure you don't wear a tight shirt when you're doing that.
Why?
It might be. Never mind.
If I jump hard enough, I will fall through to the kitchen of McAllister's.
Oh,
what a delight.
Oh man, there's a lot of tea up here. You know what I mean? There's a lot of tea. Hello, Jason Brown. Kristen's facial expression does say it all. Mobile Pete. Yeah, I'm all around. Oh, anybody have any like life-changing things they want to chat through before we answer people's financial questions? Okay.
No.
Hi, Leah. How are you? Man, to be able to see you guys and this size without having to squint is really great.
You used to have to squint to see us before?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't.
It was a long way away and it was a small monitor. I can kind of understand that.
Okay.
I would have needed a 5-foot spear to poke Dame in the head. That was the distance.
Yeah.
Today's a PTO day for me. And I'm here.
I literally asked Dame that. I said, wait, is Pete on PTO?
Pete, do you want to come to Best Buy with me after the show?
No.
Ben is out there jumping around like a person who's jumping around, trying to distract me and make noise.
That's all right. Get him in the corner of the window there so he can. All right. For those watching the live stream, we can have a cast of characters
stand right here.
Stand right there.
Stand right here.
This is the podcast is
right there. There we are. There he is.
Hold on. Let's go full screen. Oh wait, he's gone.
Well, he walked away. Come back.
All right, here there
he is.
There's been everybody. Good times. Okay, we're done. Let's do the show. Oh, I don't have anything to write on. The new office, there's no paper.
Failed the plan. There's lots of paper out here.
Why do you need paper?
How do I write down the time?
Yeah.
Call Xerox.
Oh. Sponsor of the show, Xerox. All your paper needs.
What's that? What's the thing on
Notepad?
Yeah, what is
Or
it?
notes.
Notes.
It's either notes or
Notes.
notepad. I can't
Here it
remember.
is.
Notes,
Okay.
yeah.
I have never used it. It's starting up. It's like,
Technology.
man, it is my first time being alive. Here we go. All right. Great. All right. Fantastic. Starting my clock. I wish my group text would stop blowing up my Apple Watch right now. Thank you. And
Hey,
no, I could silence that. I know. Shut up, Dame.
Hey, Pete,
Yes.
you want to talk about whatever the first segment's going to be?
Nah, we'll figure it out when we're
Okay.
going.
All right.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what may happen. We may answer your emails on the air. We may answer your emails on our live stream show Friday. It's 10 a.m. Eastern time on Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, Facebook, and or YouTube, and or LinkedIn, so that we can never be employable again. Kristen Elanius joins me. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
Dame joins me. Hello, Dame.
Hello, Pete.
Kristen, is that a new shirt? I've never seen that bright blue on you.
It is not a new shirt, but color theory is real, and I'm trying to wear more blue.
I don't know what that, but that's what Google is for. For
There
me, what would blue do? What is in this world of color theory, of which I'm a practitioner? What does blue do?
Blue for me, because I have a lot of red undertones, blue like counteracts that. So like blues are like more light greens. It's a better color for me. That's why I don't own
Oh.
any red shirts.
I think I have a tremendous number of red undertones, and all I wear is blue. Really?
See? Perfect.
Yeah, I'm a practitioner. All right, let's get started with our first question of the day. Dear Kristen and Co., I've been working with my current financial advisor for over a decade. Dame, that is 10 years.
I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
And I've known him for even longer. He's easy to relate to since we're in the same stage of life. He's easy to connect with whenever I have questions, and he's generally a good guy. However, I have an uneasy feeling that I can't shake. I'm not sure if I'm getting value from his services. Currently, we pay around 0.75% annually, or 75 basis points, on managed investments and receive wonderful service. However, I'm struggling with the investment philosophy of my advisor. He claims that while I may not get top of the market returns when things are going well, under his strategy, my account values will decrease less when things aren't great. On the surface, I'm working on like my
Is that
accents.
German?
On
Okay.
the surface, this sounds reasonable, but here's the problem. I'm up around 9% net of fees this year, while the Standard & Poor index, he put S&P, or she did, is up 17%. How can this be? Is this an acceptable trade-off for downside protection? How much will be missing out over the good years, and how will it impact my long-term account values? In addition, my advisor bills himself as a retirement advisor. I'm still 20 plus years away from retirement. I have questions about college planning and insurance and general financial strategy. My advisor will discuss those things with me, but I can tell he's not all that interested in the topic. Lastly, I'm planning to move some old 401k accounts and caught myself wondering, should I move these to my advisor or just manage them on my own? I've been around long enough to know that's not a great sign. Am I getting value from my advisor? Is there a better solution? Am I being unreasonable? Thanks, Jay. I need to go.
Wow.
Yeah. Kristen, what's the first thing that strikes you there?
The first thing that strikes me here is whether the S&P is the appropriate benchmark for this individual.
Oh, wow, man. It's moments like this that I'm so glad I don't do the show by myself anymore. Because that didn't even occur to me. It didn't even occur to me. It's such a good answer. It's such a good piece of insight. Say more, as we say here at Your Money Line when someone makes a point that we don't understand. Go ahead, say more.
Would love to. So the S&P is potentially not the right benchmark because this person might not be taking the same level of risk or have the same level of diversification as the S&P 500. So you can't compare yourself to the S&P if you're not taking those same risks.
Yeah. It's a trap we fall into all the time because Pete, you and I, Kristen, same, kind of our bellwether for how the market is doing is the S&P 500 index. However, if you are using a diverse allocation in your portfolio, you're probably not going to do what the S&P 500 does. And if you do, it's probably a combination of being in other good markets or in good investments, and you just happen to get that same return. But if you're in a portfolio that's got a lot of large cap stocks, small cap stocks, international, developing international bonds, uh, alternatives, goodness gracious, it's silly to tie yourself to the S&P 500 as your guideline, your benchmark for what your expected return should be for the year.
Yeah, Kristen, hearing both of you say that, and I agree, is there an ideal index or benchmark that we should look to?
That's a great question. We don't know this information, but if this person's like 20 years out from retirement, I wouldn't know this answer off the top of my head, but what's more realistic of like a 70-30 portfolio or maybe a 60? No, too aggressive? Dame raised his eyebrows like he thought that was totally out of bounds. I don't
I don't think it's aggressive enough if you've got
Yeah,
an aggressive risk
90-10 for
tolerance.
me. I
Yeah.
go 90-10.
90-10. Yeah,
Yeah.
but not everybody's us, you guys.
Well,
This person-
that's good because
This
we're not
person
great.
might not be that comfortable, but that's what I'm maybe looking toward what would be, are you maybe 80-20? Maybe that's more realistic.
You know, Dame, again, without knowing this person's risk tolerance, is it fair to say if they want S&P returns and they have, does that speak to their risk tolerance if they want S&P returns?
I think it could, if they are actively benchmarking their own returns against an index. I think it could indicate that they are paying a little bit more closer attention, and maybe they have a higher risk tolerance. But it's something they have to come to terms with themselves. If they haven't taken a risk tolerance profile questionnaire, which I think is probably part and parcel of every onboarding for financial advising relationship these days for compliance reasons, they may want to do that and see if their assumption on their risk tolerance actually matches up to what their answers tell them.
So then the question becomes, how do they know if their advisor is performing as they would expect? And the answer then is you have to ask them what metrics they're using to gauge their own performance. If it is a fully diversified portfolio, there are numbers they should be looking at, and this advisor should be able to speak to that. Is they should know about beta and alpha and different ratios. And this person isn't expected to know that, but the advisor should be able to bridge that gap with education to help them understand if they're getting the value that they're paying for.
Let's not forget as well that NVIDIA, am I saying it right? I
think
feel
so.
I always feel like I say it wrong every time. Has become a disproportionate part of the S&P 500. So if you netted out that, like, are the returns actually closer to 9%? Arguably, maybe, right? So I think we go to, within this question, is this a problem that is going to age well, right? Is the belief that value is not being delivered going to age well, or does the emailer just lack the context to know how to measure the impact and performance of their financial advisor? Because if you strip out NVIDIA and the S&P 500 is around 9%, like, what is this really about?
I think the return expectation is indicative of a potential lack of communication or good communication from the advisor back to the client in this case. But there are other things in this email that get my attention about him billing himself, the advisor billing themselves as a retirement advisor, and kind of brushing off some of the other questions that this individual has, that Jay has, for his financial life or her financial life at this point, whether it's I think it said college contributions and insurance and general financial strategies. If what they do isn't matching up to your stage in life, you may not be getting all the value outside of even the investment returns and the communication thereof.
Let's do this. Let's everyone calm down. Kristen, calm down. You're all worked up. Let's take a break. And we may have to talk about this a little bit after the break, maybe, because I think the next question, email question we have, is just a little simpler. So we'll come back. We'll maybe put a bow on this question for Jay. Maybe not. Maybe we'll disappoint everyone in our lives, and you'll find out whether we do next, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. Okay. I have to say, doing this with a new setup, with like new clocks and new screens, and it's something's happening. There's a little something.
I don't like change. I feel like I would be very uncomfortable.
You know, I do have an idea though. Okay, everyone work with me first. First, I'm going to
Pull up
turn
the
on.
calculator.
No.
Change.
No. Everyone, calm down.
He's gonna change. I know exactly what he's gonna do.
You don't know what I'm going to do.
Yes, I do.
Well, okay. What am I going to do?
Are you gonna change the camera to be your iPhone and give the people a tour?
No, I thought about that, but I'm
Okay.
not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to project my iPhone up here so we can all see the time. Because the way the new setup is, it's harder for me to look down and see what the time is.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone calm down. This will take a second.
You mean I don't have to use my old-timey Coach stopwatch?
You could use a cell phone.
Okay.
The fact that you brought that to Indianapolis.
Okay.
What was that?
We'll just put it right over my
That's
face.
great. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, that's not great. Okay, hold on. Let me regrip. That was a bad idea. Let's try it this way.
Getting
Oh.
closer.
Okay. Oh no, that's not it.
Maybe not.
Can you? Oh, can you see it?
Oh, I can't see it, but that's okay. I can use a stopwatch.
Oh my gosh. Let's see if it's right. Oh, I can't see it at all. This is the stupidest idea you've ever had, Dame.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Oh, now everyone can see my stuff. Okay. Oh no.
Oh no. Trying.
I'm back. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Steve Miller. Enjoy your. I don't want to say enjoy his band because if your name is Steve Miller, anyone everyone's like, oh, you like Steve Miller Band?
Yeah, exactly.
Woohoo!
Tristan, do you know who the Steve Miller Band is?
No.
Oh my God. Kristen, how about this? Let's do something fair because I've been thinking about how many references that we make, and we probably make you feel a little bad that you don't know them, or you feel good that you're not old. Make a reference that you don't think Dame and I'll know so that we can feel how you feel.
100% likelihood this one hits. I will not know what she's talking about.
Okay, make a reference, pop culture-ish, because that's usually where we lose you.
So if just there when you were messing with the calculator and Dame or the timer and Dame and I were starting to interject, if instead I would have said, let him cook.
Oh,
I
I've
know
got a
that.
12-year-old son.
See? That's like, I don't like, what else am I supposed to?
No. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry. That's all my son ever says. How was your day? I was cooking. You know, and then yeah, it's a thing. Okay. You ready to do this again? Do we answer any questions there?
Not really.
Okay.
Do you want to make a quick pass through the rest of that and actually try and answer questions before we move on to the next
Sure,
one?
let's do it.
Okay.
Well, and Pete's right. The other one's shorter. So
I know,
just
yeah. Let's give it the space it deserves.
Hey, Chauncey, can we clip the part where Kristen said Pete's right and just put that on loop? Chauncey is this imaginary producer we have.
he's looking.
Yeah, he's not running towards the studio.
Chauncey
Sorry.
isn't?
He's not in the production booth
You
either.
can't
so
see him. He's invisible.
He's in the booth behind me.
That's right. If I had a 7-foot spear, I could stab Chauncey
Oh,
too.
And then Dame. Yeah. Double murder to start your show.
So
It's
when
great.
we were building the office, putting the office together in the last couple of weeks, which was a lot of Allen wrench work, let me tell you.
Love that.
I brought a pocket knife to work that entire week. A little weapon. And I was using it to open boxes. And I thought everyone was impressed that I had gotten to that. Yeah. And so I was opening it and it was like not sharp though. And I thought, do I need a better pocket knife? So then I went online.
No,
What?
you need a new
Just need to
blade.
sharpen it.
You guys don't with me with this. So I went online and I found this pocket knife that is amazing looking. It looks like it could, if it was on a 7-foot pole, could really get through you right now, Dan.
You
was
bought
like-
a new knife.
No, I didn't.
instead-
I don't have
Oh.
any money. I got teenagers. It was like $168.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, I bet that thing is good. The thing with my current blade is it's got like those cuts in it. So how do you even sharpen it? 'Cause it's-
Serrated blade. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm not even going to go into it. Pete, was it a Spyderco or Benchmade that you were looking at?
Benchmade in 3,
Hmm.
2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. All right. So I don't know if we really answered Jay's question. The question was, does Jay need to look for a new financial advisor? Is something going on? Is something not smelling right? I don't think Jay is being taken advantage of. I want to be very clear about that. There could just be a difference between what Jay thinks they need and what the advisor does as a practice, because practices are not going to adjust. If you're a retirement advisor, you don't care that much about college costs, then you're going to be dismissive of that idea.
Entirely. I mean, it's very common right now in the financial industry to start niching your business a little bit. So maybe you focus only on retirement planning, which I would argue probably really isn't a niche. It's just a catch-all for you. But whether you may work with special needs families, or you may work with women in tech, or whatever it is, there are a number of ways that you can identify yourself as a specialist to help people in that circumstance get through their financial life. And if the stage of your life and what you need isn't where your advisor likes to practice, that's not your fault. That's not their fault. It just isn't a good match for where you're at. 0.75% on assets under management, not bad.
We don't know how much they have, but that's fine.
Yeah. And so if you want to argue about the returns, I would first make sure that the risk tolerance and the investment strategy conversation has been had again, and make sure that there's not anything else that can be done there. But I do, as I said in the last segment, I am a little bit concerned about the lack of ability to get some good answers, or make it feel like you're confident in how you're headed in college planning, insurance, and financial strategy, and whatever else is going on. So if it's not a good match, then politely part ways and go find somebody else that might be able to better serve you and your family.
Kristen, go ahead. Then I have two thoughts.
Well, I have a question for Jay, which is, you've asked us a lot of questions, and I hope that before reacting, Jay will take a moment to think about this. Jay has questions about whether their advisor is being a good advisor. And my question to Jay is, are you being the best client?
Oh, man. Let's point the fingers back at the person who's emailing us.
I'm not saying that they're doing it intentionally, but if they have these questions that they've not communicated, there is expectation. If the advisor doesn't know that this person's dissatisfied with the returns, or maybe doesn't know that these other things have become of greater importance, should the advisor be asking about those things? In my opinion, absolutely. But should Jay also be communicating them? Yes. So if Jay has done those things, absolutely. But just make sure that you're being the best client that you can be as well.
I generally like this idea, Kristen, because I think too often we don't put enough scrutiny on the client themselves.
Absolutely.
In the advisor client relationship, that people withhold information or withhold preferences, and that may be taking place here. But here's what I think this is all about. I don't know if you caught it, but Jay said the advisor is Jay's age. So the advisor's in their 30s. Okay. And they run a retirement practice. Dame, why does someone in their younger 30s run a retirement practice?
Because they probably bought it from somebody else and they're accumulating assets so they can make a lot of money.
Close to my idea, right? So which is because you have to go out for people with money. You have to seek out money.
Got to make a living. Yeah.
And all of those people aren't 33 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're trying to build a practice, assets under management, you're not targeting 30. I don't know how old this person is, but you're not targeting young people. If you have I say family practice, which all of a sudden sounds like people are getting probed and things. What? That's not the first thing you think of? A good old fashioned probing?
Not.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
If it was more of like, hey, we're here for growing families, then you're going to get that attention to what you care about. The fact that the person is your age and you like them doesn't mean you're part of their target market by any means. So I think that's the issue, is that if you want someone to tend to your needs, having someone your age with a family like yours isn't it, because that person is trying to have a successful practice and they are not targeting Jays.
One last thought. That last paragraph, do you think the ship has mentally sailed for Jay because they're considering doing investing on their own at this point?
Chris?
Whether it has or hasn't isn't even the point for me. My caution would be to not do this on your own, because if we're questioning why our portfolio isn't performing at the same level of the market, but potentially don't know if we're invested in a way that should provide those returns, you probably shouldn't be managing your own assets at this point.
That's actually a really good point.
There are
Because-
other solutions out there. I mean, you could go with a robo advisor and just use it as a parking spot in the meantime and pay 50 basis points less than what you're paying right now, and arguably get potentially better returns because the allocation might be closer to what it should be than you might be using with your advisor. So I think there's other solutions that don't require Jay to do the heavy lifting themselves.
I started agreeing with Dame. Like, that was my perspective prior to Kristen's point, but Kristen's point's really nuanced, and it's this: he's accidentally, or Jay is accidentally getting half of what the S&P 500 is getting. I say accidentally because they don't know why.
Right.
And so if they switch to another portfolio, they would accidentally get some other return because they don't know why, right? So as long as they understand that they don't know why, and that it is just diversifying, not knowing why, I have no problem with them managing their own assets. But if they think it is the solution,
do we potentially suggest putting in all of their tickers into a tool online to seeing how they're actually allocated and where the investments lie?
of course. However, if that's not on their statement, maybe there's a new set of alarm bells going off.
Oh, geez.
No, not fraud. It's just like, okay, our jobs, kind of on the radio, on the pod, and in life as financial people, is to take complicated things and make them easy to understand. If a person has a portfolio, but they don't understand what those things mean together, and it's easily discernible information, then a job is not being performed well. So, Dame, I don't know. Do we email back Jay and say, what is your asset mix? What are the style boxes? Like, what is the allocation? And that should determine.
Yeah, I have no idea what statements look like these days because there's so many different companies you can get statements from, but I don't know how common a pie chart showing your allocation on statements is going to be. I mean, how many actually even email them out? Mail them out. It's going to be email anyway, and it's so easy to ignore statements anyway. I don't know if that information is readily available to somebody.
Can I have a moment of admission here? When I was an investment advisor, so this was 2012 and before, I often said the phrase, "You will not get top market returns because I don't seek them for you, because I'd rather you be protected on the downside." I said that all the time. And is it possible that there's some laziness in that? I mean, it could either be true or it could be lazy.
I don't know. I don't see that as being lazy. I think you are set up with your investment strategy. You're not going to, chase the trends necessarily, but you're going to pay attention to the market, make sure you're invested appropriately. And if you get some reasonable percentage of the market while, making sure the portfolio is allocated properly to minimize the downside based on risk tolerance and however else you choose to look at it, I don't think that's lazy. I think it's being very specific, making a customized portfolio for your client, Peter.
Stop it. I don't do that. Don't with me. Kristen, before we go to the break here, because we've now done 2 segments on this email, unless the advisor is guaranteeing 10% rate of return for 10 years with no surrender fees, I mean, it's not a good match, right?
Yeah, probably not.
All right. That was a little throwback. All right. Listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to calm down. Kristen's going to calm down.
Why is it always me?
I don't, because it's a joke. We're going to take a quick break and come back after the break. And we're either going to do a life insurance question or we're going to do a question about spending habits. I don't know. We'll see when we're back after the break. Kristen,
Pete.
I've missed talking to you because I like
Fine.
some really great nuanced points there in the first 2 segments.
Thank you.
And he just doesn't get those when it's me and him.
When it's Dame.
Yeah.
You guys just agree with each
Just
other.
sledgehammer. It's just we're going to come through and squish everything.
Well, Dame and I, at least professionally, have had such similar experiences.
Yeah.
That it's, it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's a really good point because though my tenure as an advisor was shorter, I was expected because I was like 22. I was expected to every meeting I felt like I had to prove myself a little bit more. And so I think that I sometimes approach those questions a little bit differently.
I just realized the best part of this new setup for me in the new studio is when I click and add someone to, let's say Rochelle says happy Friday. I add her to the stream so people
Mhm.
can see her comment from Facebook. I can actually see what Rochelle looks like because it's about that big on my screen, where before it was like looking at a pinhead and trying to figure out what a person looks like. I mean, yes, I know Dan's is
A sunflower.
whatever is a sunflower. I've always known that, but like, getting a good look at Jason Brown here. Like he's got a person with him. He's at a baseball game. Like I didn't know these things before. Let's look at Cheryl. Look, Cheryl's with her nice husband there. They look like they talk to each other at dinner. I mean, this is great. Who knew these people were
Why do you assume that's her husband?
Me and Dame.
her lover? I don't know who it is. There's Jacob. He's got an amazing jacket and sunglasses on in a kitchen. Like I didn't know these things about people. Like,
Hilarious.
did you guys know this?
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
look at Leah. Leah's with two people that, I mean, who knows? They could be kidnapping her. I don't know what's going on, but it's exciting to see.
It's a whole new world.
Did you guys know this?
Yes.
I didn't know it. Let's continue. Do you want to do?
I do not think there's enough meat on the bone for the life insurance question to make a segment out of it.
All
I
right,
think it's a good question, but I don't think there's enough there.
All right. So we just tell that person, get busy or die trying. Is that
Well,
it?
we can start with the other one, and if we kind of
Yeah.
run out of steam, we can jump in there and do a quick hit on the insurance question.
I don't like that the next email starts Pete and crew. No one calls us that. We're going to switch. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to fake the email and
great.
change it. Okay, hold on a second.
It's going to be to Chris and co.
Oh, we'll see. You take it easy.
Calm down.
Is there anything better than in public on a live recorded stream to tell a young woman to calm down for no reason?
No, it's great.
I love that for me.
Yeah.
I
Can't wait till it shows up in a iTunes comment.
I will say this: my 24th wedding anniversary is here in a couple weeks,
Mhm.
and what I have learned in terms of non-live stream, like true human interaction, is I don't ever tell my wife to calm down.
I was just going to ask you, how many times have you told Mrs. Planner to calm down in your 23 plus years of marriage?
The thing is, of course, I have, because that's how you learn that that's not a good communication style. Kristen, Dame is, of course, in the office here this week, or at least yesterday and today. And so we were seeing each other, and he was standing right here in this space yesterday. And he's so much taller than me. His face was
That was taller.
his
There you
face
go.
was off the screen. And I was like, I felt really short.
Are you guys wearing the same shirt?
I don't think so.
No, I've got the YML polo.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Jay.
You know what Jay looks like now.
I already know what Jay looks like. I've never Zoomed with him in this office, but I've Zoomed with him before.
I like that he said. I like that he
That's
said
fun.
Pete and crew. You didn't catch that.
I did.
Okay.
I've Zoomed with Jay.
Oh, wow.
Let's see if in this who I've Zoomed with. Just Jay.
That was good use of time.
And Sarah Renfro. Yeah, I've Zoomed with Sarah. Okay. Okay. Sorry. What? I like standing.
Do after this.
Watch this though. Like if I could just disappear.
You're
it'd
gonna
be
do the
like
elevator? Do the
yeah.
elevator. There you go.
Oh my.
Can you do an escalator for us?
Oh, I think I pulled an ab doing that. Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
Is my energy different since I'm standing? I can't tell. Am I?
I think so.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Kinda
Oh
dig
my
it.
gosh, I totally pulled an ab.
Hmm.
Don't turn into an older fat man, Kristen. Okay. Like, I can't say fat. You can't say fat anymore. I can't say fat.
It's about yourself. You can.
I don't think you can.
I don't
What
think
if you identify that way?
Oh, don't. I'm fluffy. Is that what the comedian
Squishy.
says?
I'm squishy.
Okay. how's Weight Watchers going, Andy? Andy, wait, she's asking me that.
Yeah.
I'm not asking
let's-
her that. Andy says, and Pete, how's Weight Watchers going? Well, I'm watching Weight come on right now. I fell off the wagon. You fall off the train. What do you fall off of?
Would you forget how to count?
No, I went to Chicago for 4 days
Oh,
and I was putting things in my face
Hmm.
aggressively.
Hmm.
A lot of tubed meats. What? Why'd that look?
The descriptions that you choose are just
Tubed meats?
so interesting.
Whatever. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Kristen, we got an email recently and I want to read it to you. Christy A. and people with her. I've been a loyal listener of your show for years and appreciate the balanced advice you offer. Was this, by the way, timeout, Dame, timeout?
granted.
Did this person email the wrong show?
It's like balance. Do I stand on one foot for the rest of this reading, or do I?
I'm writing in about a situation involving my 2 close friends. Let's call them Sarah and John. And I'm really torn about whether I should say something or just let it be, or I'm adding this, passive aggressively email a 1% podcast. That's what's going on. Okay. Sarah has found a way to treat herself to fast food without John realizing how often it happens. Am I Sarah?
I was like, I'm taking notes.
Is my wife Sarah's name John and I'm
Oh,
Sarah?
no.
What's happening here? Whenever she goes grocery shopping, she buys small denomination gift cards to fast food places. Okay, I don't do that. Wait, is that real?
Yet. Wait, this is
Oh.
genius.
Brilliant idea. Holy crap. It's an amazing. Then, when she wants to eat out, she uses the gift card and tells John, "Oh, I have a gift card." So it doesn't look like they're spending extra money. Sarah doesn't seem to think she's doing anything wrong. She sees it as a clever way to satisfy her cravings without impacting their budget significantly. But I'm starting to feel uneasy about it. John has no idea she's doing this. I'm concerned about what might happen if he finds out. I think he'd be impressed. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Am I overreacting, or is this something I should bring up with Sarah? I really value their friendship, and I don't want to cause unnecessary drama, but I also don't want this to turn into a whopper. I added that part too.
A whopper.
A whopper.
Whopper. Yeah.
Wow. I have a million thoughts. And my first thought is, should I let anyone else talk? Because I've got so many thoughts on this. So I'll go last.
Oh, does that mean that Dame's going first?
I don't care, whoever. Like, I've got so many thoughts that if I go, I can't stop. Won't stop. Aha.
This is not a great situation. If you're hiding your purchases from your spouse, even if they're minor, if you are actively deceiving your spouse about how you are spending money, there's probably a bigger issue at foot other than the $10 a week you may be spending on fast food or broken ice cream machines at McDonald's.
Kristen, is this different than let's say, I'm going to pick up carry out for the family and I'm going to use our regular purchase methods. And on the way, I say, hey, I'm going to get a 6-pack of beer at the local liquor store because beer would taste good with the food we're having. And I was great.
Mhm.
So I stop and get the 6-pack of beer and I happen to see a bottle of bourbon that I'd like to buy. And so then I bring in the bottle of beer, or pardon me, the cans of beer. We eat our dinner. Wife goes upstairs to take her things. Then I bring in the bottle of bourbon and I put it in the bourbon cabinet. Is that different than this?
That is
Or
the same.
it's not the same because
It's the
I
same.
don't think it's the same. And
Would
by the
you-
way, I'm talking about my friend Tara and Ron.
Would Ron normally just walk into a liquor store and buy a bottle of bourbon without asking for permission in the first place?
I don't know.
Because if he does, I think that okay, great.
It's not
You just-
permission. It's not permission. I think it's the judgment from what talking
Oh.
to Ron.
Ron, yeah.
I think it's the judgment of like, oh, God.
But okay, so first of all, Andrea is exactly right. It's financial infidelity. This is not great.
Ack.
And second of all, the level of deception here totally depends on the level of communication that they've had. Because if the emailer's friend is doing this because they've made a commitment to spend less money on food outside the house, this is so bad. It doesn't matter if it's $10, it's so bad.
And what if Sarah's on Weight Watchers? Now you're throwing good money after bad at that point.
It does feel like a perverse type of money laundering. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
I think this is a bad thing.
This is bad.
And I think it has to do with converting purchasing power to obfuscate purchases. I think that would be it.
I mean, at some point, doesn't the husband have to wonder where all these gift cards are coming from?
You know what? Rick Swink makes a brilliant point, because I think it's actually the same point that Ron would have about the bourbon purchase. It may not be about money. The issue is actually the shame or the judgment around the fast food.
That's true.
Ron, my friend, handsome as the day is long, he in Alaska. He maybe just doesn't want his wife to know that there's another bottle of bourbon going down.
Okay, so there's two questions. One is, how could the friend potentially turn this into a good thing? And two, what does the emailer do in this situation? Because that's ultimately what they're asking is, what do I do? Because they feel that they have loyalty to both people in this situation.
Dame, I'm not suggesting this is my answer, but is this anywhere close to not my circus, not my monkeys?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristen, you
No.
did not like that.
I did not like that. If these are your good friends and you feel that this is truly financial infidelity, I think that you have to have a conversation with the friend who is participating in that activity, which I think was Sarah in this case, that you have to talk to Sarah about this, about the seriousness of this issue. I'm not saying that you have to then go to their partner and say this is what she's doing, but I think it's your duty as their friend to have the conversation with them about it.
How would one go, Dame? How would one go about going to Sarah and say, "Hey, I've been thinking about this, and I think if Rick, what's the guy's name? Steven? John? If John ever found out about this, I think it could be a bigger deal than you think." Is that how you do it?
I would probably invite them for some fries at see if they wanted to buy, and then we'd talk about potentially rethinking their financial infidelity.
Kristen, do you think you just go up to him and say, "I don't think there's not enough information and going along. I don't feel like you're giving John a fair shake"?
Wow. I think I would go to Sarah, assuming that this is a good friend of mine, and say, I've really been thinking about this, and I feel that I've been put in an unfair position and really value you and John as friends. And if John's not aware of this situation, I would really appreciate not being in the middle of this, and explain to her why that you think that if he knew, this would be a problem.
Dame, say what I'm thinking, please, because your face said it.
But what if you approach Sarah about this? She doesn't appreciate it, and the relationship becomes frosty.
That's not what I was. That's not what I was going to say. But just call her to catch up.
Stop.
No, here's the thing, though. I think by going to her and saying, "You've put me in an uncomfortable position," and again, it's not you, Kristen, but I'm saying the friend, whoever the emailer is, I think that makes it about the emailer. This has nothing to do with the emailer. It's like, "You've put me in an uncomfortable position." Have you? You're not involved.
I don't know, you guys. I don't like friends that put me, maybe that's my personal bias coming out, is I don't want friends to put me in the middle of things that I think are issues in their relationship.
Yeah,
I don't want to know. Nobody
wants to be in a pickle.
No, no one would relish this opportunity whatsoever.
No.
Do you regret this?
My career choices? Yes, I do.
Now, look, our show is about giving you tips, nuggets, whatever we can for the tender moments in your life. Okay.
I'm done with this segment.
Are you going to quit the show today?
Actually, yeah, my resignation letter will be on your desk.
Kristen thought that she wasn't on the show today because I didn't send the link to her at the same time I sent Dame's, and it reminded me of the time that the Indianapolis Star stopped running my column. I submitted my column like on a Wednesday, like I always did. I opened when I still got the paper in person on Sunday, and my column wasn't in there, and that's how I found out they stopped running my column. Thanks, Indy
So
Star.
bad.
I really enjoy all 4 pages of your publication. Coming up after the break, we're going to do this. Biggest waste of money of the week, which I just referenced, and the news, which I also just referenced. I'm Pete the Planner. I like standing.
I feel like the energy is different. I feel like the two of you need to stand always.
It was a great segment.
What if, well, here's the thing, Kristen, you know this. I always stand at work. Like
Right.
that was what was different about the show is that like I would go into my studio and just pop a squat and be like, hello. But I usually stand during the day, which is why I don't know.
See, I stand a lot during the day, but I can't stand still. I don't think I could stand for the show.
You don't stand it? I thought you had like a treadmill desk or something.
That's what I'm saying is I stand during the workday, but I can't not move, which is why I sit for the show because I would be walking all over.
Yeah, I am a pacer
Yeah.
for sure. I think I get to meet Caitlin Clark on Wednesday.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you next week on the show whether it happened or not.
Cool.
If I did, I'm pretty excited about that.
As you
Quick
should be.
pickup game.
No, I daresn't to do that. Andy says, and there's less of Pete looking into space while others talk. That is true. Let's see what that looks like here.
Don't lose your balance.
I don't like that. I feel like I'm getting tested for
DUI,
having one too
Now
many
you know
hidden
how
bourbons.
it felt.
Okay. Okay. There's so many emails and Slacks that have accumulated during this, and I have not clicked a single one.
I'm really proud of you, actually.
But I'm staring at them.
That's the same.
No, I haven't opened them, but I'm staring at the number.
Oh, okay.
Just grows and grows.
This is one of the best PTO days I've ever had.
Thanks. I love spending days off with you.
Except for the phone calls I had before the show.
Oh.
And that I'm going to have after the show. Okay, Kristen, I will never ask for relationship advice on this show, but can I set up a scenario about my friend Ron real quick?
Mm.
I don't think you should be asking me. You can maybe
Let's say Ron tells his lover, his special friend, his hand-holding partner, that, hey, the kids are going to be gone both at camp. So why don't I take a personal time off day? Is that what it's called? PTO? Is that what it stands for? Personal time
sure.
off?
I think so.
I don't
Paid
think that's
time
it.
Paid time off. Paid.
I'm
paid.
getting paid.
Sure.
I'll
You guys-
just take a PTO day. I never take time off, and we'll go do something. And so then, as the day approaches, Ron says, "I'm going to probably have to work a half day that day." And then Ron's partner says, "Why? Why? I thought you were going to take day off." And it's like, no big deal, no big deal. So then this morning, Ron is talking to his partner, and Ron says, "I'll be home by noon." And his partner says, "Oh, whatever. I got nothing going on." I was like, "Can it be later than noon?"
Oh,
And
no.
then Ron is now scared.
Bad, Ron. Bad.
Just a human.
No.
What?
It's about respect. That's disrespectful.
How's it disrespectful?
Because
set the
you
expectation.
An expectation.
Yeah.
It is disrespectful.
But the person says they don't care.
They do care.
You should know
Oh,
that.
now Ron's partner's a liar.
What?
Okay. If anyone knows Ron's partner, can we just keep this between you, me, and the gift cards? All right.
Do you want to stop by a store and get some bourbon, and I'll just take you home, and you can kind of fall out of the car, and I can say it was a long morning at work.
Oh, if you bring home bourbon on a weekday, like prior to like 3 p.m., that'd be a bad thing. Heather McCann asked if I am Ron, and
No.
I say
No.
I am not Ron. I'm never Ron.
Yeah.
Okay.
The puns.
What? Here we go. Okay. First time I'm starting this segment here. This will take me a half second to think about here.
Oh, new
because
setup.
Guam's
Yeah.
always a little
Yep.
little different here. Okay, I think this is the move here. Maybe let me click on this. Okay, ready? And oh, geez. 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is this thing. Yes, this thing. And this thing is the Aosu Solar Cam D1 Classic Kit. Your home security system will never go offline again thanks to Aosu's solar-powered Solar Cam D1 Classic Kit, which includes 2 cameras and a hub with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and 32 gigabytes of centralized local storage for no additional fee. Not only is the low monthly cost enticing, but the cameras themselves are a step above other home surveillance systems. They feature automatic human tracking. Timeout.
Granted.
On that read, when I did read over it before the show, I read it out loud, just for having some fun with my my modulation.
Yeah.
And I read they feature automatic human trafficking. And so I had to remind myself to say tracking and not say that on the air. Continuing cross-camera tracking, 360-degree panoramic capabilities, color night vision, and recordings in high-quality 2K resolution, allowing you to read license plates and decipher faces with ease, even if it's nighttime, thanks to the camera's built-in LED lights. Plus, just 2 hours of daily sunlight keeps the cameras running no matter where you are.
Mm.
What do you guys think this costs?
Not the monthly subscription.
Let's
just
say
the
per
4
month.
cameras?
Yeah, we're not getting into the per month thing. What is the? I don't actually know what the month. Oh, it says no monthly. Oh, I'll
Yes,
look
you
at the
told us
monthly
it was.
fee.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think the cameras cost?
The 4 cameras retail for $700.
Dame?
I'll say $950.
Only $230. But here's the thing.
Steal.
I don't buy any home device that says solar powered. Dame, have you ever seen the old solar power walk path lights that people put up to their porch that come about midnight or putting out as much light as a lightning bug?
Yeah.
It'll work. 2 hours. Like, what if you were in the winter? Do you realize that when there is cloud cover, solar powered things can only gather between 10 to 25% of the powering
Look at
sun?
you.
I did some research.
Wow.
But don't you think the technology is probably a little more sophisticated in a several $100 camera system than the $2 lights that I bought from Walmart?
Oh, these are $10 a piece, made in China.
I don't know their country of origin, but I will say $200 isn't a lot, especially when you think about the Wi-Fi capabilities, you think about the storage, you think about the camera lenses they talk about. I'm telling you, I don't use this product, but if you'd like to sponsor the show, send one to us and we'll talk favorably about you. I think it's a terrible product. Oh, but what, Dame?
It's a Guam, and you said you'd use it, but it's a terrible product? I am
No,
so confused. This is whiplash.
I would not actually use this. Dame, what's in the news this week?
Would you like a serious story or a serious story that we can all rally behind?
Rally fast food. Another food reference.
It is. A bipartisan group of senators has taken, if at first you don't succeed, try again to heart with a new proposal aimed at cracking down on stock trades by members of Congress once and for all. The Ending Trading and Holdings in Congressional Stocks. Pete, what does that stand for? Ethics. That's right. The Ethics Act, drawn up by 5 senators, 4 Democratic, 1 Republican, may have the teeth to finally make a difference on the Hill. Here's what it would do. It would require members of Congress, their spouses, and their dependent children to divest from their assets starting in 2027. Lawmakers would also be banned from trading for the 90 days after the bill becomes law. The penalty for breaking the law would either be the lawmaker's monthly salary or 10% of the value of the asset in violation, whichever's bigger. And the act also requires divestment of assets, even if put into a blind trust. The acronym experts over in Congress passed the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge, the Stock Act, in 2012, which requires members and their spouses to disclose their trades over $1,000 within 45 days, but that hasn't had the intended effect, probably because the only deterrent to trading is a $200 fine if you don't report it in time. No other proposals, of which there have been plenty, have gone far enough to reach committee.
Look, I'm not trying to, what's that expression? Look a gift horse in the mouth. Is that how that goes?
Wow, you made that was great. Good job.
However,
Okay.
you mean to tell me that someone potentially acting on insider information receives the same penalty as someone who takes their retirement accounts before full retirement age without an exception? That is not enough.
So could we all, maybe we might all agree on this, that there should absolutely be regulation around this,
Yes.
but the penalty should actually be a penalty.
Right.
Yes.
That's not a penalty.
No,
So
that's a 10%
That's extra
participation
tax.
fee.
Yeah.
totally, like, just do it and pay the tax because your returns are so high anyway. What's it
Yeah.
really matter?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, for comparison's sake, if we're just going to argue, there are a number of ETFs that actually follow the trades of different politicians. Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, is doing all right this year. He's up 45% year to date.
Man, Jay needs to hire him as a financial advisor.
Oh,
I'm serious about this. If you pick a large number, 100,000 people,
Mhm.
sure, whatever, what's it matter? Pull 100,000 non-politicians. How many, a true number, how many people of those 100,000 say, let them do whatever they want from an investing standpoint? How many out of 100,000?
None. They'd
Le-
actually understand the question.
Well,
yeah, less than 10% would.
oh, I got to think. Yeah, okay. I got to think less than 5%. Now this has become about an education question to Kristen's point, but 5-10%, right?
Yeah.
It's wild. Dame, what else is in the news?
Pete, I think this next story it kind of treads in an area that you may be familiar with. I'll be curious if you can win our game that I'm going to introduce here.
Oh boy.
Gwyneth Paltrow and the U.S. women's gymnastics team have at least one thing in common. They can never have too many crystals. The American gymnastics team unveiled its new leotards for the upcoming Paris Olympics this week, and some include 10,000 hand-placed crystals,
Oh my.
up from a pathetic 6,400 for the Tokyo Games 3 years ago. Each Leo would fetch up to this amount on the retail market.
$1,500.
1,500 American dollars. Kristen,
It's higher than that. But I don't know.
is it?
$5,000?
$5,000 on the retail market, according to the New York Times. Quote, the more crystals, the more impact, and the more the leotards are talked about. Gene Diaz, the design director of GK Elite, told the New York Times, fans can buy replica leotards, though. Don't worry, which replace the crystals with something called spangles for $90.
Spangle was the producer of my first radio show, Chris Spangle.
Did you call them spangles?
I called him Sprinkles. Dame, you're going to disappoint me with your answer here, but it's worth asking just in case you're not going to disappoint me. Did you write the Gwyneth Paltrow joke, or was that some other copy?
I didn't. I wish I did.
Oh man, you're so disappointing. But I took a chance there, because if you would have said yes, that
Yeah.
would have been overwhelmingly amazing.
Yeah.
What else?
The only thing more vacant than the look in the eyes of Jets fans every September is the U.S. office building. Vacancy rates hit a record 20.1% in Q2, the highest since Moody's started tracking nearly 50 years ago. Particularly empty in San Francisco, where the vacancy rate reached 34.5%. It was just 5% in San Francisco pre-pandemic. That's a
Wow.
little different.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah.
big difference.
When we moved offices here, obviously we created a vacancy, but it'll be gone in a month. Someone already ran space.
Really?
Yeah, we still have the space till the end of the month, and my studio has not been torn down yet over there, so I've got some work to do.
No kidding.
All right, let's take a break, and by a break I mean 167 hours. Kristen, thank you for your contributions to today's show. Dame, you're a glass case of emotion. Everyone else, sending you good vibes, because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is the new studio, and have a good weekend. Good day. Okay.
There we are.
We did. Sorry, I there is some new moving pieces for me today that I got to try to figure out, but whatever. Should I do a little office tour?
You want me to stay in the box so you can?
I could do that. Now I'm not going to be able to hear anybody. Okay.
That's
What, you're going to be able to talk?
No, but you guys will. You guys.
I can
You-
narrate.
no
You
one. There
Kristen,
you
is
go.
this a bad idea?
This is not a good idea.
Andy says it's a great idea.
Okay, so what this is going to end up meaning is that like colleagues like young Ellie, who's just out there doing her job, is about to be on a live
Nah,
stream.
she's in one of the other rooms.
Oh, we can get in there.
She might be on a call.
That's all right. She'll be fine. All right. So this is a bad idea. If you are listening on the pod, I recommend going to
Just stop.
youtube.com/Pete the Planner. Go to this live show. It's one of the live streams. I need to clean up that YouTube page, by the way, but don't really have time. Let me see if I get going here. Give me a half second. Is this a good idea? Andy says this is a good
I think
idea.
it's a great idea.
I feel like Andy's got his best judgment as anyone. And so
You're
she's-
welcoming people into our home. It's great.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Here we go.
I'm going to start. This is the office here, everybody. There's the lights that shine down.
Oh my.
This is what I'm looking at right now. That's a thinking chair. All right.
Make sure you take your ears out before you walk away.
Ooh, I cannot show my whiteboard though. Oh, this is a bad idea. Oh boy. Sorry, it's just a little awkward. I'm just trying to avoid some things. There's that, and then here's the backdrop. It's my family. That's it. That's what we got. Okay. Now I got to take off my ears. Dame, are you going to navigate or are you going to narrate?
Yeah, I can do that. Well, Kristen's never been here, so it probably better be me.
Okay, stand by.
All right, everybody. He's going to walk out that door right there. Frosted, beautiful frosted door.
What
If
other-
you go to the left, which I doubt he will, that's the. He's going to the left. It's like we're connected. Picture George Washington. It's been in every office we've been in.
snake
Front
plant.
door and a little reception area. That's our logo and a printer. Apparently, it made fax. A recording. Let people know to stay the heck out of Pete's office. And we're about to have some inception here because as Pete walks around, you'll see where I'm recording from. That's my setup. I am in a very, when he said glass case of emotion, he was not kidding. You'll also notice I did a little modification there. It says dime normally, but I put it way over that. So it says dame. Walking around back through that little area, that's the kitchenette. He may go back there. That's the biggest TV I've ever seen in somebody's house. It's huge. I don't know what they use it for. I'm guessing to watch Colts games. If he keeps, that's the library. It is awesome in there. I recorded the news, and it is such a great backdrop in there. Where is he going? Oh, he's given up. So there was another couple small conference rooms. Did he fall?
Oh.
I thought he might have fell. He is old.
Did that work?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I thought you were going a little bit further, so I kept waiting to not talk about some things, but that's all right. They can go back and watch it in slow-mo and do their own content.
That snake plant in the corner probably needs more light. It's gonna die. Just FYI.
Jeez. Debbie Downer.
I'm just, you know.
Not only am I going to have to figure out what a snake plant is, I'm going to have to water it or move it.
Don't water it. If it doesn't have light, it doesn't need water.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you let it die of dehydration and lack of sunlight? That seems a little cruel.
What would it do to me? Anyway, I am gonna go take PTO here in a couple hours. So I have got to, you know what? PTO starts today at 5 p.m.
Wow.
Peter time off is what they call it. Kristen looks unimpressed. What are you Googling?
I'm not. I'm asking Oz about that plant.
Make sure you pick up some bourbon on the way home for Ron.
Stop it. All right, everyone. Good luck with your lives and stay getting money.